I think one of the biggest misconceptions about wine travel is that it has to be expensive. People picture luxury tasting rooms, private dinners, Michelin star hotels, $300 bottles of wine. But honestly, some of the best wine trips I've ever taken were in places that are surprisingly affordable. Regions where you can still drink incredible wine, eat great food, stay in beautiful towns, and actually feel immersed in local culture without completely destroying your bank account. By the way, welcome. I'm Hilary Zio, a certified sommelier, wine book author, and restaurant owner. After 20 years in the wine industry and visiting over 50 countries, this channel is all about travel for wine lovers. So today, I want to talk about 6 classic wine regions around the world that are amazing if you're traveling on a budget. And these are not random places, these are serious wine regions. First up, Umbria, Italy. And honestly, if Tuscany ever feels overcrowded or overpriced to you, Umbria might be exactly what you're looking for. People call it the green heart of Italy because it's full of rolling hills, olive groves, medieval towns, and just quieter countryside landscapes. It has a lot of the beauty people imagine when they think of Italy without quite as much tourism or pressure to spend money constantly. And what I love about Umbria is that the pace just feels slower. You can stay in small hill towns like Orvieto or Spoleto and wander through churches and piazzas for free. You can eat incredible handmade pasta with truffles or porcini mushrooms and drink local Sagrantino or an Orvieto Classico for a fraction of what you'd spend in more of the famous regions in Italy. And geographically, it's really manageable. You can explore a lot without spending your entire trip driving around. There are hiking trails, cycling routes, little family run trattorias, got olive farms, vineyards everywhere, and it feels deeply tied to tradition. One of those places where the experience isn't about luxury, it's about slowing down. Next up is Galicia in northwest Spain. This is honestly one of Europe's most underrated food and wine destinations. Galicia sits right above Portugal along Spain's Atlantic coast, and the entire region just feels so different from Spain because it's green, misty, wild, and rainy. It's incredibly beautiful. There are over 1,000 miles of rugged coastline, tiny fishing villages, dramatic cliffs, and some of the best seafood I've ever had. If you love oysters, razor clams, mussels, octopus, then this is heaven. And because the Atlantic Ocean heavily influences the climate, the wines are super fresh and full of saline. Albarino is the most famous grape here, especially in Rias Baixas. And when you drink it in Galicia with seafood, it suddenly makes complete sense. It's bright, mineral, citrusy, salty, almost like the ocean itself is inside the wine. And what I love is Galicia still feels very local. People speak Gallego in addition to Spanish. The food culture is incredibly rooted in tradition, and the tapa's amazing for budget travelers because you can eat really well without spending so much money. This is one of those regions where I think you should just rent a car, drive the coast, stop at seafood restaurants, and drink Albarino for a week. Now let's go over to Mendoza, Argentina. If you've ever dreamed about wine country with dramatic mountain scenery, Mendoza is unbelievable. The Andes are constantly in the background, and what surprises many people is how affordable it can be, especially compared to Napa or Europe. Argentina's exchange rate often makes dining, wine tasting, transportation, and even beautiful accommodations very surprisingly accessible for Americans. And the wine scene is massive. There are over 1,000 wineries in the region producing world class Malbec, Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnay, Cabernet Franc. And honestly, the quality level is incredibly high now. But Mendoza also feels adventurous. You can bike between wineries, horseback ride through the vineyards, hike in the mountains, just drink outside late into the evening, and the whole culture feels very relaxed and social. One thing I really appreciate about Argentina is that meals still feel like events, right? People eat late, they really linger, they open more wine, nobody's rushing you out. And for wine lovers, that's kind of the dream. Now let's talk about Rioja. This is Spain's most famous wine region, but somehow it still feels affordable compared to major wine destinations. Rioja is known for Tempranillo based reds that are aged in oak. These wines can be incredibly elegant, but still approachable and food friendly. And what's nice is that you can visit legendary producers while still staying in small towns where there's going to be a lot of restaurants and they're much cheaper than places like Napa or Burgundy. And the food culture here is incredible. Pinchos bars, you're going to get roasted lamb, jamon, grilled vegetables, and visually, Rioja is gorgeous. You have vineyards stretching towards the mountains, tiny medieval villages, stone wineries, traditional Spanish atmosphere. It's a really easy wine region to navigate, especially if you base yourself in a small town and just plan a few winery visits a day instead of overloading your schedule. And honestly, Spain in general still offers amazing value for wine travelers. If you've dreamed of going to the south of France but think it's financially impossible, look at Languedoc. This region stretches along the Mediterranean and is dramatically less expensive than French Riviera or Provence. Historically, it was known for inexpensive bulk wine production, but not anymore. Over the last few decades, the quality has improved enormously, and now you can find incredible value in Syrah, Grenache, Mourvedre, Sanso, Carignan, even Chardonnay and Cabernet. So, what I love about Languedoc is that it just feels lived in. It's not trying to impress you. You have beach towns, ancient villages, outdoor markets, seafood, and vineyards are everywhere. This is very relaxed in a Mediterranean rhythm. You can spend the morning at a winery, and in the afternoon, you can go swimming in the ocean. And evening, eat oysters and drink the local rosé without spending a fortune. It's honestly one of the best value wine regions in all of Europe. Lastly, Chile, and specifically regions like Colchagua Valley. Chile is one of those countries where wine travelers can experience really high quality wine without the price tag that people expect. The landscapes are so beautiful: mountains, vineyards, open skies, and the pace of life is again slower and calmer. Chile produces incredible Carmenere, Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, and coastal white wines, and many wineries still feel intimate and personal. Because the country stretches such a long distance geographically, you can combine wine travel with beaches, mountains, hiking, go to cities, outdoor adventures. It's all really easy. And what I appreciate about Chile is that wine tourism still feels a little less commercialized compared to some major wine destinations. And if you have very high level wine experiences, you're going to still feel grounded and authentic. Honestly, sometimes budget travel is better because the trip becomes less about luxury and more about connecting to the place. You end up spending more time in local restaurants, talking to winemakers, and walking through towns. You'll be shopping in markets, having slow lunches, and those are usually the moments people remember the most anyway. The best wine trips are rarely about drinking the most expensive bottles, they're about feeling connected to a place. So if you've been dreaming about wine travel but assumed it was out of reach financially, I hope this video gave you some ideas because there are still incredible wine regions around the world where you can eat well, drink well, travel slowly, and have unforgettable experiences. Let me know in the comments which region you'd visit first, or if there's another underrated, affordable wine region that I should be adding to my list. Thanks so much. See you next time.